everybody, it's Ian the Off-Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. It's that time again. It is time to start the Puzzle Mystery Quilt for Fall 2024. This theme, of course, is Wild West, which is why I'm on a horse. Let's go ahead and get started and take a look at what all we have in our first packet for month one. All right, hi-ho silver, away! I think I left the parking brake on. All right, I have my Cotton Cuts box. This has all of our clues for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt Wild West inside. I'll open it here in just a second, but before I get to that, I want to show off the block I made. Cotton Cuts actually challenged me to make something with some scraps from my colorway, and so I went ahead and put this block together. This has all the colors from my colorway in it, and I think it came out pretty well. If you want to see how I put this block together, make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down to that specific live stream down in the description below, so make sure to go check that video out. But for now, let's go ahead and open up the Cotton Cuts box. All right, let's open it and see what we got. We, of course, start off with a welcome to the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. This has a little bit of information, nice little note. This is their 16th Puzzle Mystery Quilt. And also, just as an FYI, if you ordered borders and backing and you ordered the full kit all at once, then they will be actually mailing borders and backing to you in April when the big reveal happens. So be on the lookout for that. All right, let's get through the tissue paper and take a look at what we got. All right, there we go. We are going to be working on a large calamity. So here is your color guide. This is going to give you all the information of which fabrics belong to which letters. And then on the inside, there's a lot of important information. So make sure to keep this handy. Do not lose this. This is going to be very important for you. If you do happen to lose it though, don't worry, because on the Cotton Cuts website, you can actually go into your purchases and download another copy to print out. So if you do end up misplacing this, don't freak out. You can go onto their website, download a new one, print it out, and have it on hand for when you're working on the Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I'm just so excited. I don't know what to say. There's also a lot of tips and tricks. So they have tips and tricks in here. They have mark your calendar. We have our sign up for this spring 2025, which is hard to believe, on December 6th, with the first clue shipping February 7th of 2025. All new Puzzle Mystery Quilt and all new colorways coming then. And then we also have support. So if you find something missing, if you just need some help in some way, shape, or form, go to this website and you can fill out a form and they can help set it right. You also have all of your dates, email dates for when the clues are either shipped or emailed to you. So go ahead and write these in your calendar so that way you have them available. Hey everyone, quick breaking news. Cotton Cuts has just revealed a brand new CCPD evidence locker. Cotton Cuts will no longer be emailing out clues for Wild West, but instead you can go to this website and actually sign in and retrieve your clues from this website. So now you don't have to worry about them getting lost in your email. Make sure to check your email to get the link to sign into this brand new website. And not only will it have the most recent clue, but it'll also have all previous clues as well. So this is a great way that your emails don't end up in the junk mail folder and lost forever. You can now access the clues directly from the Cotton Cuts website. Make sure to bookmark that site so you know exactly where it's at. All right, back to the clue. You, of course, have your Facebook group, so if you aren't already, make sure to join that mystery Facebook group. And then we have general questions. You can always reach out to help@cottoncuts.com. And then on the back side, again, you have all of your colors for your colorway. Do yourself a favor. Go ahead and take a picture of this with your phone. Do it right now while you're thinking about it. Grab your color guide. Take that picture so that way you have it available if you need it. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Oh my, we got a new Flat Nancy this year. And of course, she's cowboy themed. So this is going to be a new Flat Nancy giveaway. And it has all the information here on this card for how to do that. Make sure to hold on to Flat Nancy as she rides the trail off into our next mystery. And here are all the clues. So I have all the clues 1 through 10, and I'm just going to be reaching into this box each time I'm ready for a new clue. I'm going to grab my clue packet 1, and I can already see some of my favorite little goodies in this one. So we're going to be working with clue number 1. Now, one other thing inside my box is this, it doesn't have a number on it. There's no clue labeling on it, and it is all of the fabrics. This is going to be my oops kit. So if you ordered an oops kit, you get, it's a little less than a fat eighth, but it is perfectly sized in case you accidentally rip a clue, or you're working on that seam ripper and you accidentally tear into the fabric or something like that. You can always replace it using this oops kit. So that is in my packet. It was actually down at the very bottom of my box, but it's good to know that it is there and ready for me to use if I need it. Hopefully I don't ever need it, but just in case, it is available. All right, now that I've pulled clue 1 out of the box, I have my instructions for my large Calamity colorway for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt Wild West. I, of course, have my color guide. Let's go ahead and see what pieces are included in this kit. It looks like we've got a lot. This is going to be a very full tutorial video because we've got a lot of steps, but let's go ahead and unpack the fabrics. And of course, like I mentioned, so many of you love these Cotton Cuts pins. I love them too so much. I collected them all so far, and I love that we get 2 more. So these are going to go into my pin holder. But yeah, I love the Cotton Cuts pins. They are the best. All right, here we go. Starting off with our F fabric, we have 6 small F triangles. We have 8 small D triangles. We have 8 small B triangles, we have 6 small E triangles, and we have 4 small A triangles. We have 2, I'm going to go medium-sized triangles of E fabric. We have 4 medium-sized B triangles. We have 2 squares of F fabric. We have 6 squares of D fabric. We have 2 squares of A fabric. I'm running out of room. There's some pretty big pieces in this one. We have 2 large squares of D fabric. We have 6 rectangles of D fabric. And then last but not least, we have 4 large triangles of C fabric, lots of fabric, and I think we got every single color in this one, I think. Yeah, it looks like we got every color from this clue, so we've got a lot to work on. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the table next to me, and we'll go ahead and get started with step number 1. All right, so for section 1A, we'll be making 2 of section 1A, and the instructions tell us how to make both of section A at the same time. We're going to start off with 1.1, which says to sew a small triangle of A fabric to a small triangle of D fabric, and we're going to make 4 half square triangles using our A and D fabric. And then we're going to move on to our next step. We are going to set 2 of these aside. So whenever we sew all 4 together, we're going to set 2 of them to the side. But for 1.2, it says to add a small D square to the right of a step 1.1, and we're going to make 2 of those. So we'll connect our D square to the right of that. Then for step 1.3, it says to join a D rectangle to the top of a step 1.2. So this will go on top like so. And then we are going to move on to 1.4, which says that we are going to join a large D square to the top of a step 1.3. And we're going to make 2 of those in total. So we're going to be making 2 of them that look like this when it's all said and done. Remember, if this is your first time working on the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, on your instructions it actually has arrows, and those arrows tell you which way to press your fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and step through all of this and put this piece together like you see it here in the instructions, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've gone ahead and sewn our step 1.1, and I wanted to come on really quickly and show you how I like to press out my half square triangles. If you've never done this process before for the Puzzle Mystery Quilt, what I like to do is I like to go up about halfway into my half square triangle, and then I press over. This really seems to help a lot with stretching to make sure that the half square triangle doesn't stretch too much. I'll show that again. By the way, we're pressing towards our D fabric in this. So in this case, this is my red fabric. So once again, I like to lock in those stitches really quick, and then I grab my D fabric and I'll go about halfway in and I'll go up, I'll come back down, then go sideways to open it up, and that really does seem to help a lot with making sure that my my half square triangle doesn't warp too much during the pressing process. Okay, I have set 2 of our DA half square triangles off to the side, as you can see at the very top of the screen there, and now I'm just pressing out my final set of 1.4. So there's our 1.4. We made 2 of those, and if you didn't catch it, our seams are going to go for our DA. They go up towards well, at least on my colorway, it goes towards our D fabric. On 1.2, it goes towards our D square. On 1.3, it goes up towards our D rectangle. And then on 1.4, it goes up towards our D square. So that's what it should look like when we're all done with step 1. Let's go ahead and move on to step 2. I don't know why, but this gives me feelings of like candy apple, I guess because the green and I don't know. I keep looking at this and thinking candy apple. Anyways, moving on, 2.1 says to sew a small D square to the top of the remaining 1.2 units, and we're going to make 2 of those, so it will look like that when we're done. We're going to press it up towards our D square when we're finished. And then for 1.2, we're going to add a D rectangle to the right of a step 2.1, and we're going to make 2 of those, and then we'll be pressing towards our D rectangle whenever we get that all sewn together. So it'll look something like this when we're all done. I'm going to go ahead and sew that together, and I'll come back when I'm pressing it out. Okay, I've sewn those 2 together, and now I'm pressing towards my D rectangle, which is on the right side. There we go. I've done 2 of those. Let's go ahead and move on to step 3 and 3.1 and 3.2. All right, now I feel like we're getting ready to play Simon Says, because these feel like Simon Says colors. All right, here we go. 3.1, we're going to sew a small D triangle to the right of an A square, so it should look like that. We're going to press that, and we're going to make sure to press it carefully because we don't want any bias stretching happening. But anyways, after we press that, which we're pressing towards our A, by the way, we're going to then attach a small F triangle to the bottom, just like that. We're going to be pressing towards our F triangle again, making sure not to stretch the bias fabric. And we're going to make 2 of those. Then for step 3.2, we're going to join a large C triangle to our step 3.1. So it'll look like this when it's all done. I'm going to go ahead and sew all this together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I have sewn all those together, and now I'm pressing out my last piece here. I do my best to not stretch out that bias as much as possible. It can be a little difficult though, but we do our best, you know. Finished is better than perfect. So, all right, we have completed our step 3. Let's go ahead and move on to step 4. Okay, moving on to step 4, it says to join a step 2.2 to the top of a step 3.2, and we're going to make 2. So the 2 pieces that we just made, we're going to go ahead and join them on top of each other, and you'll know you've done it right when your D fabric lines up correctly and your A fabric lines up correctly. So they should be touching just like you see on the screen right now. So I'm going to go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've sewn that together, and by the way, whenever you're putting this together, these seams right here will nest. So right where your A fabric touches and your D fabric touches, that little seam right there will actually nest. So that makes it easier whenever you're sewing this part together. I have done that on both of them, and I am pretty happy with that right there. That looks pretty good, so pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and move on to step 5. Okay, moving on to step 5, it says to join a step 1.4 to the right of a step 4, and that will be our completed 1A. You'll know you've done it correctly because your red fabric, well, you don't have red. I keep forgetting. Not everybody has red fabric. Your D fabric will be touching, and you kind of have this like mountains look to it, I guess. I don't know. I can't wait to see what this design looks like, but I'm going to go ahead and take these over to the sewing machine and just sew along the line right here. These seams right here where our C fabric meets over here on our D fabric, these will nest, and you don't have to worry about this one nesting. So I'm going to focus and make sure that that fabric right there nests, because those seams will nest, and I'll go from there. Okay, I have finished I've finished sewing, I should say. I'm now pressing our pieces together. We're going to press this towards the left side of our block. So on that seam that we just worked on, we're going to be pressing towards the left side. I'm being kind of careful because there is a little bit of bulk right where that triangle is meeting. So it might be a little rough there, but I think overall it should be okay. I got all the pressing over onto that side. There we go. So that completes our first 1A piece. I'm going to go ahead and mark this as either 1A or clue A, however you would like to mark it. I'm going to set this aside and we're going to move on to 1B. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with section 1B. We're going to be making 2 of section 1B, and the instructions tell us how to do both at the same time. Starting off with step 1.1, we're going to sew a small B triangle to a small E triangle. We're going to make 2 of those that look like that. Then for 1.2, we're going to sew a small B triangle to a small F triangle, just like that. We're going to make 2 of those. And then finally, we're going to join a step 1.1 to the top of a step 1.2. We're basically making a bicolored flying geese. There we go, if I can get that out correctly. So we're basically making a bicolored flying geese block, and I'm going to go ahead and sew this together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've sewn those together, and now we're pressing up towards our E fabric. The half square triangle that has the E fabric is the direction we're pressing in. There we go. So I have sewn those together just like that. There we go. There is our step 1. Let's move on to step 2. All right, moving on to step 2, it says to sew a small E triangle to the top right of our medium B triangle. We're going to press that, and then we're going to add on our second E triangle to the top left. We're going to make 2 of these in total. We're making a flying geese block with this, so I'm going to go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, I am finished sewing that together, and now I'm just doing the press. And again, I like to press my flying geese kind of like my half square triangles, where I press it up and then press it over, and it seems to really help with those biased edges. So there we go, we finished our step 2. Let's go ahead and move on to step 3. So for our step 3, we turned our step 2 90 degrees to the left there, so that way it's pointing towards the left. And we're going to join a step 2 to the left of a step 1. You know you've done it correctly when your B fabric forms this chevron shape. I'm going to go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've sewn both of those together, and now I'm pressing towards the left side of our pieces, just like that. So there we go. I follow basically the chevron there. So there we go. There is our step 3. Let's move on to step 4. Okay, moving on to step 4, it says to sew a small F triangle to the top right of a medium B triangle. We're going to press that, and then we add our small D triangle to the top left. We're going to make 2 all together, and we're going to be pressing outwards towards our D and F fabric. I'm going to go ahead and sew this together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I've sewn those 2 together, and now I'm pressing it out like I did the ones before. This feels very much like 3D glasses. I think it's because it's the red and blue, but anyways, let's go ahead and move on to step number 5. All right, moving on to step number 5, we're going to sew a small B triangle to the top right and of a small of a medium-sized E triangle, and then we're going to press and then add in our next B triangle to the left. We're going to make 2 of these in total, because guess what? Something tells me we might do something like that here shortly. But anyways, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, there we go. I have finished sewing those together, and I am pressing them out just like so. There we go. All right, so there is our step number 5. Let's move on to step 6. And just as predicted, in step number 6, we are going to join a step 4 to the top of a step 5 to make our chevron with our B fabric. And it should look like something like this whenever we're all said and done with. I'm going to go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, I have sewn that together, and now I'm pressing it in the direction that our chevron forms. So in this case, towards the top. Just like that. All right, there we go. That is our step number, what was that, 6? That was step number 6. Let's move on to step number 7. All right, moving on to step 7.1, it says to sew a small F square to a small D square. So they're gonna line up just like that. And then in 7.2, we're gonna add a D rectangle to the left of a 7.1 like that. I'm gonna go ahead and sew these together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. All right, I have sewn those together, and now we're pressing towards the left side. So our large D rectangle, pressing towards that. There we go. There are the 2. Let's move on to step number 8. Okay, moving on to step number 8. It says to rotate step 6 as shown and join to the left of a step 3. So here is what that looks like when we put them all together. So we're going to sew these 2 together. Again, you know you've done it right when your chevron forms there with the E fabric. And then we are going to add on a 7.2 to the left. We're going to make 2 of these in total, and our D fabric is going to be opposite each other on this side. So it will look like this. I'm going to go ahead and sew all of this together, and I'll come back when it's time to press it out. Okay, there we go. I have sewn all 3 pieces together to form one long strip, as you can see. And now we are pressing towards the left side of this strip. If I can press it in the right direction. There we go. All right. Is this perfect? Absolutely not. But it gets the job done, and there we go. That is what it looks like when it is all said and done. So I'm going to be labeling this as section or clue 1B, and we'll be good to go with that one. So it's kind of hard to fit both of them in the frame at the same time because they're both kind of big pieces here. But as you can see, we've got our clue or section 1A, and then our clue or section 1B. That is going to complete our clue number 1. Only 9 more clues to go until we put the whole thing together. But we are done with our first one, so it's time to look towards clue number 2 next month.